My 5-year-old daughter came home from kindergarten one day and dropped to her knees in front of me, pleading with me not to send her back there. She was sobbing and shaking her head, refusing to tell me why she didn't want to go anymore. Sensing that something was amiss, I lifted her shirt and was horrified to discover tiny puncture marks all over her arms and body. Furious, I took a photo and posted it in the kindergarten parents chat group, demanding to know who was responsible. A person named Luna replied arrogantly, "I told my son to do it." She then sent 2 more pictures. One was a wedding photo of her and my husband. The other was a picture of me, my daughter, and my husband. "You homewrecker. You dared steal my husband and have an illegitimate child. It's a miracle I didn't have my son beat that brat to death." The parent group exploded with insults directed at me and my daughter. Even the teacher tagged Luna and said, "Mason did well today. I'll give him a gold star tomorrow." Luna sent a smug emoji and taunted me directly. "If you're mad about it, come find me. My son and I are still at the kindergarten." As I headed to the kindergarten with my daughter, I messaged my company's legal team. "Prepare a divorce agreement for the prenup. I want David out with nothing. Also, my daughter was assaulted at the kindergarten. Bring a team over immediately. I want them to pay dearly. How dare David, a freeloader, keep a mistress and a child on the side?" When we arrived at the kindergarten, the first person I saw was Luna, standing outside, surrounded by other parents from the class. "Luna, you're so low-key. If it weren't for all this, we wouldn't have known. Your husband is the CEO of Martin Group?" "Exactly. No wonder I thought you had such an elegant aura the moment I saw you. It's that high-class grace that comes with wealth. We're all here to support you today. We're proper mothers, and we can't let a low-class homewrecker push you around. Right? What good could come from a homewrecker's daughter? Mason is truly the heir of Martin Group. He's already standing up for the people at such a young age." Even the teacher was fawning over Luna. "Luna, let me know Mason's favorite foods, and we'll adjust the kindergarten menu to suit his taste from now on." Luna was basking in the praise. David had been freeloading off my family for years, doing nothing to give him some responsibility. I handed him control of the smallest branch of Martin Group. I never expected this would become Luna's source of pride and admiration as soon as they saw me. The parents who had been flattering her just moments ago immediately frowned and looked at me with disgust, as if I were something filthy and repulsive. The teacher walked up to me, her face cold, and said, "Miss Walker, I've been instructed by the principal to inform you that Emily is expelled effective immediately." I glared at her and asked coldly, "My daughter was attacked. Instead of seeking justice for her, you're expelling her." The teacher responded indifferently, "This is an elite kindergarten. The children who come here all come from wealthy or noble families. A child born from a homewrecker like you staying here would only damage our reputation." My expression darkened as I warned her coldly, "I suggest you investigate who the real homewrecker and illegitimate child are before speaking." Just as I finished speaking, Luna stormed over to me. She slapped me hard across the face. "How dare a filthy homewrecker like you flaunt yourself in front of me? Did you really think having a bastard child would let you take my place as Mrs. Jones?" The sudden slap left me stunned. The other parents began mocking me, pointing fingers. "You look decent, so why stoop to being a mistress and having a child? Mistresses are the shame of all women, and their kids are even worse." The insults and accusations attracted more bystanders who started pointing at me. Some even took out their phones to take pictures and videos and spat at me. I took off my $1 million coat and tossed it into the trash. Then I turned to face Luna directly. "First you told your son to bully my daughter, and now you're hitting me in public? Who gave you the audacity to act so lawlessly?" Luna arrogantly replied, "It's only right for a wife to slap a mistress. Besides, I'm the wife of the Martin Group CEO. Beating you and your filthy daughter is nothing. I could even take your lives, and it wouldn't matter." The other parents chimed in. "If you hadn't been a mistress, Luna wouldn't have hit you. You brought this on yourself. You're just a filthy mistress. Instead of keeping your head down, you're out here provoking us. Getting slapped is the least of what you deserve. Yeah, you got a taste for being a tramp, huh? Who are you pretending to be the innocent victim for? We're not like those men blinded by lust." Even the bystanders joined in on the insults. Each insult was more vicious than the last. This only emboldened Luna. She glared at my car behind me, eyes blazing with anger. "You filthy woman. Spending my husband's money like it's nothing. How dare you drive a Rolls-Royce? A cheap mistress like you doesn't deserve this car. I hate mistresses more than anything. Every mistress on earth should die." As she spoke, she pulled out a key and scratched large letters across my car's surface. "Mistresses must die." I glanced at the glaring words and said coldly, "You'll soon realize how ironic those words are." Hearing this, Luna flew into a rage. "You filthy woman, living off my husband's money and acting all high and mighty. Today, I'll make sure you pay back every penny you've taken from him." She picked up a brick from the sidewalk and started smashing my car with all her strength. She didn't spare anything. The windows, headlights, and the hood, everything was attacked. Seeing this, the other parents were energized. They picked up whatever they could find and joined in on the rampage, smashing my car with enthusiasm. After breaking the windows, they climbed inside, slashing at the seats and tearing apart the interior. The once pristine luxury car was quickly reduced to a heap of scrap metal. At that moment, one of the women broke open the trunk and gasped, "Look, there's a bunch of expensive stuff hidden in here." Luna approached casually, pulling out a painting, sneering. "A woman who makes her living selling herself is collecting art, trying to act all cultured. It's an insult for trash like you to own something like this. Someone like you only deserves trash." As I watched Luna and the other parents reduce my car to rubble, I felt a mix of rage and determination rising within me. But instead of yelling, arguing, or crying, I simply remained silent, my face expressionless. My cold eyes fixed on Luna and the group around her. They didn't know it yet, but their arrogance and aggression had just awakened something they could never control. Once Luna finished scratching the car and everyone was laughing and boasting about what they'd done, I noticed one of my company lawyers arriving at the scene. He gave me a concerned look, but I merely nodded slightly. The lawyer approached me, discreetly handing me a stack of documents. Luna, noticing the movement, walked over with a smug smile. "Already got your lawyer here?" she mocked, with the other parents chuckling. "Thought you could sue me and come out on top?" I didn't respond. I simply took the documents and walked up to Luna, holding the papers out to her. Her eyes narrowed, confused, as she took the papers from my hand. "These are divorce papers," I said coldly. "David is out of my life, without a cent of my money. I also instructed my team to head to the branch he was managing. By now, his belongings should be packed, and he's officially out of the Martin Group." Luna's smile disappeared, replaced by an expression of shock and growing fury. "That's a lie. You can't do this. David is the CEO. He has rights." David was never the CEO. He was just the manager of a small branch, a responsibility I gave him to see if he'd grow up. But he chose to betray me. With you, a woman so low she thought destroying my car and bullying a child was the best way to show superiority. The parents around Luna began murmuring, confused and uneasy. The atmosphere shifted. Some of them started to back away, realizing that something was very wrong. Luna began to tremble with rage. "I'm the legitimate wife. You're just a mistress," she screamed. At that moment, the security team from my company arrived. There were 6 men, all in uniform, with an intimidating posture. They walked directly towards me, awaiting instructions. The parents surrounding Luna began to scatter, seeing that the situation was becoming serious. "I want you to ensure Luna and anyone else who participated in this destruction are detained," I ordered. "I already have enough evidence to charge them with vandalism, assault, and defamation. Also, my daughter was harmed. That will be dealt with legally too." The security guards moved quickly. 2 of them grabbed Luna by the arms as she struggled and yelled, trying to break free. The others began approaching the parents who were involved in destroying my car, who now looked terrified, not knowing what to do. "This is absurd. You can't do this," Luna shouted as she was led away. "I'll destroy you. You'll see." I paid no attention. I simply turned and walked over to the lawyer, who handed me another document. I took it and walked over to the teacher, who was watching the scene, pale and clearly scared. "Here is a court order," I said, handing her the document. "This kindergarten will be investigated for complicity in child abuse. My daughter will not be expelled, and any attempt to prevent her return will result in severe legal consequences. I have also alerted the media about what happened here today. I will hold a press conference to make sure everyone knows exactly what occurred, with names and evidence." The teacher took the paper, her hands trembling, unable to respond. Her arrogance had completely dissipated, replaced by evident fear. She looked at the document, and then at me, visibly at a loss for words. Luna was taken to the police car that had been called by my team. She was still shouting, trying to justify her actions, saying I was a homewrecker. But now, no one seemed to be listening to her. The other parents were also taken away, one by one, all clearly regretting what they had done. I saw some of them crying, begging to be released. But it was too late. They chose to follow Luna, and now they would face the consequences. At the end of it all, I looked at my daughter, who had been watching the scene in silence. I knelt down to her, hugging her tenderly. "No one will ever hurt you again, sweetheart. I promise," I whispered. She nodded, her eyes still teary, but there was a glimmer of hope in them. I took her hand and led her away from the scene. As we left, the onlookers' gazes were no longer of disdain but of astonishment and even fear. They saw what happens when you mess with someone you shouldn't. I wasn't just any woman. I was the head of the Martin Group, and no one, absolutely no one, got away with challenging me or hurting my daughter. This was the beginning of a new chapter, one in which I would do everything to protect those I loved and, at the same time, ensure that anyone who tried to destroy me faced justice, without mercy. As soon as I resolved the situation at the kindergarten and ensured that everyone involved was taken away by the police, I knew that legal justice alone would not be enough. People needed to know what those individuals were capable of, especially the institution that had the obligation to protect and educate children. I took out my phone and made a detailed post on all my social media platforms. In the post, I described every moment of my daughter's suffering, from the bullying to the injuries I found on her body. I explained how Luna ordered the attack, how the teacher was complicit, and how the kindergarten, instead of protecting an innocent child, decided to humiliate and expel her. I included photos of the marks on my daughter's body, videos of the parents destroying my car, and even a picture of the painting Luna pulled out of the trunk. My words were clear. This is the reality of an elite kindergarten that should care for children, but instead endorses abuse and violence. My daughter was hurt, humiliated, and now I demand justice, not just for myself, but for every child who has ever faced this and was silenced. The post went viral quickly. People from all over started sharing my story. The name of the kindergarten was in all the headlines. The kindergarten's Instagram was flooded with comments and criticism from outraged parents demanding answers, while the administration desperately tried to control the damage. Within a few days, the official profile of the kindergarten was deactivated, unable to handle the volume of accusations and pressure. The few remaining parents also began withdrawing their children, afraid of what could happen in a place where abuse was treated with indifference. Before the lawsuit even reached court, the kindergarten had to shut its doors. No sane parent wanted to keep their children in such a toxic institution. The location was surrounded by reporters, and the scandal only grew. I was approached by several TV networks to give interviews, and I told the story from beginning to end, without failing to expose Luna's, the teachers, and even my ex-husband David's involvement. The legal process continued, and in court, Luna and the teacher had no escape. With all the evidence presented, the videos, the witnesses who were intimidated to give testimony in my favor, and Luna's arrogant admission that she had incited her son to attack my daughter, both were found guilty. They were sentenced to prison for assault, complicity in child abuse, as well as defamation and vandalism. Additionally, the fine they had to pay was enormous. I made sure that every cent was put towards my daughter's future. All that dirty money they tried to use against me was now destined for her care and education, ensuring that nothing and no one would hurt her again. The expression on Luna's face when she heard the amount of the fine was priceless, All the money she bragged about receiving from my ex-husband would now be used to repair the damages she herself caused. And speaking of David, the divorce was finally official. I proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that the real mistress in the story wasn't me, but Luna. David tried to argue, tried to manipulate me, saying he had been deceived, but I no longer had the patience to listen to lies. He left with nothing, as he deserved, without any chance of reclaiming the small power he once had in my company. The last I heard of him, he was living off favors, unemployed, while trying to avoid creditors. In the end, I not only cleared my name and ensured justice was served, I showed that no one can intimidate, hurt, or belittle someone without consequence, especially my daughter. She returned to attending a new school, surrounded by love and care, and I made sure it was the best possible. What Luna and those parents did was not just an attack against me, but against everything I had built, and most importantly, against my daughter. They tried to destroy us, but only gave me more strength to fight. And every one of those people paid dearly for underestimating the strength of a mother determined to protect those she loves.